No.
Blog Talk Radio.
No? You're not doing it. October 28th, 2020, and Jerry's here today. Say hi, Jerry.
Hola.
Oh, you were supposed to say hi, Jerry. That's the big joke, right? Say hi, Jerry.
Maybe in Canada.
Hi, Jerry. Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
hey, everybody. I got a good story to start off the show. Today's guest, PJ LeDorze. I bet you PJ is Pierre Jerome or something like that. Anyway, PJ LeDorze has the most fantastic online personal branding strategy that I have ever seen in a recruiter anywhere, anytime. Listen to this. He was at a football game between the Green Bay Packers and the Seattle Seahawks, and he sat beside a dad and his 13-year-old son, and they were big, big Packers fans in a crowd of Seahawk fans, and one of the Seattle fans was saying abusive stuff to the kid throughout the game, you know. But a jerk, yeah, but PJ was beside him. He was very friendly. Anyway, Seattle had a surprising comeback, and the kid was nice. He congratulated PJ, who is a total Seahawks fanatic. And in return, PJ gave the kid his Richard Sherman Super Bowl shirt right off his back, right? Well, the dad was so impressed, he reported it to NBC, and Richard Sherman, this football player, heard about it, and he sent PJ a bunch of swag, and then Princess Cruises gave him a free cruise, and he was on TV, and here's what NBC said about him. He said, the 35-year-old corporate recruiter, listen to this, who rides horses competitively in his spare time, described himself as just an average guy, but said that he was overwhelmed by the attention his act received. Now, if PJ sends you a recruiting email, right, and you say, who is this guy, and you do a search on his name, and you see this stuff, are you going to reply? I think so, but let's ask the man himself on Jerry.
The recruiting animal.
Thank you, Jerry. Something went crazy with my voice at the end there. Man, was that a shriek? Woof, woof.
Yeah,
okay.
That's yeah. Don't try what the professionals can handle.
Yeah, mine was a Howard Dean quality shriek. He lost the election because. Yeah. Okay, I'm going to thank the sponsors.
It takes a lot more than that to lose an election now.
We'll see. Okay. So I don't want to
throw that in there.
Yeah. Okay. So. Wow. Well, what's the one with debts? Okay. I can't remember. PCRecruiter.net, the Swiss Army knife of recruiting software. It is versatile. It is for every kind of recruiting. I know the guest today, he loves to comment on ATSs. He's welcome to do so if he wants to. We'll see, okay, because he's got a lot of tool talk. But PC Recruiter is the sponsor. So is HireTool, HireTual.com. They are the super-duper sourcing tool. Everybody raves about them. Honeit, HONEIT.com, the online interview recording technology. Tell you more about them later. And what's Wilson Cole's company? It escapes me for the moment. I can't remember. Oh, I'll have to come back to it. Sorry, they're great.
Is this a new
They're a
format?
collection agency. What?
Is this a change in format?
No.
Starting off just with all of the show sponsors.
Yeah, but usually I just make it faster. Okay, I'm screwing up after that.
Yeah. You're
okay.
killing.
But anyway, this company,
the tiny bit of momentum you had off the Seahawks jersey story.
Okay, so let's get to that.
I knew Jerry would love that one. I knew Jerry would love that one.
PJ LeDorze. Okay, he was very nervous about coming on this show. Oh, PJ, I'm going to introduce you before you start talking, okay? You've got no Twitter address. Shame on you, okay? So I can't give it out for people to criticize you.
Twitter sucks.
Don't Twitter.
This is how PJ talks about himself. I was poached out of a pet shop at 20 years old, okay? I worked on 100% commission for 4 years. Fast forward 18 years later, I think it's 20 years now, and I've worked at companies like Microsoft, Amazon, Hulu, and Google. Okay, sounds like he has no post-secondary education. I'm not sure. Here's what else he's do you want to comment on that, PJ? I'll give you a chance. Anything you have to say there?
No, I mean, look, I've been around the block. It's not my first rodeo in this, and I'm not kidding about the pet shop story.
You were poached out of a pet shop. What does that mean? Someone bought a hamster and they said, I like the way this guy sold it to me. I'm going to hire him. What happened?
That's exactly what happened, man. I sold the right guy a tortoise. He wanted tortoise for his office. He's came in as a big sales. He was a director of recruiting for an agency. 28 years old. He's got the world by the shorts, right? And I came in and said he wanted to spend a certain amount. He walked out spending a different amount. 11 job interviews later, they interviewed everybody in the damn company, and they hired me as a recruiter. 6 months, I was leading the entire company in sales. No idea what I was doing. Took me about 4 years before I really figured the job out.
And then you left. You went into corporate. That's got to be a question later on. If you're such a good agency recruiter, why'd you go in-house? But here's what you also say about yourself. I was a natural. I had good instincts for recruiting from day one. Okay? It has served me very well and also got me into hot water plenty of times.
Yeah.
Okay?
Absolutely.
So recruiters in general, do they have to have this natural talent? Is that the deal breaker?
No, I mean, like any job, right? It's I think recruiting is both art and science. So there's a science path, there's an art path. But you really need to master both sides. You really want to kind of level up.
You didn't answer the question. You didn't answer the question. You were working in a pet store. You were a little punk, and you say, I was good at recruiting from day one. I was a natural. I was born with some talent that made me good for recruiting. Can there be someone who has no natural talent who can learn to do it as good as you? Okay? Because obviously you distinguished yourself as someone who had something other people didn't, okay?
Yeah. The first couple of years, no. I think anybody who does it for 20 years, tip your hat. You're good at what you do.
I don't know. That's no good. Okay, I'm moving on. You can't answer. You don't want to answer. You don't understand the question.
I said no. A natural recruiter is going to have an advantage the first couple of years, right? Until you really learn the job, you're going to rely on your instincts, and you probably shouldn't even have it that point.
Okay.
Sounds like the thing that he had that somebody else didn't to start his career was a tortoise.
Yeah, well, no.
That's right.
He upsold the guy, Jerry.
That's what he had.
Upsold him. Yes, upsold him.
Oh, he didn't even buy a tortoise?
No, he did. He bought a tortoise for a much higher price than he wanted to.
And like a big leather saddle for it?
Well,
like in the Westerns?
Turtles and tortoises, they come with like a certain level of care. When you call somebody out, like, hey, if you want to save money, you can spend X. If you want to do it the right way, spend Y. Right? He spent Y.
Sure.
There we go.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. I just want to note. I want to bookmark the fact that I disagree with PJ already. He has a natural talent, and I believe that anybody who's going to be good at it has probably a natural talent. You can't learn it. Okay. My guess is you can learn recruiting, but not like a natural can. Okay? No substitute for experience. PJ said sometimes there's no substitute for experience. You have to learn by making mistakes. What does that mean, PJ?
Well, this is the hot water piece, right? I think if you're unafraid to make mistakes, that can get you in trouble. Learn fast, adapt quickly. But, I mean, it's just that. This job is 90% failure or 90% rejection might be a better way to say it. I'm either rejecting you or you're rejecting me. Probably 90+% of the time, and so you have to get comfortable with that. That's a mistake, right? Technically, interviewing somebody you don't make an offer to, technically that's a mistake. Learn from it, adapt, get comfortable with that, and move on. The job is mistake-ridden, and the whole thing's just a big-ass mistake. You learn and you adapt and you move forward.
Okay, so here's what Jerry, you still awake? Jerry, you still awake?
No. Yes.
Okay. He said He just said if you interview someone who's not perfect for the job, you've made a mistake. Do you believe that? That's absurd.
He didn't mean to say that. You're just trying to catch him in wordplay here.
No, he meant
I said technically.
Your audience is smarter than that.
I air quoted it. You didn't see the air quote.
Yes.
I air quoted it.
No, I understood very well what you meant. Here's what he meant. He meant if you source somebody who's not good for the job, you've made a mistake. And in a way, it's true, but it's just not reasonable. I mean, go ahead.
Yeah. The job's not 100%. My point was you can't get comfortable with the idea that you're not going to make mistakes. The whole job is a mistake. It's built on making mistakes, so you can find that perfect fit or a good fit. You don't need to be perfect. Find somebody who can do the job well, right, and is excited about what you're doing. Find that person. Okay. You can't find that 100%.
Okay, but you're not saying that 90% of your offers are rejected. You're not saying that.
No, I'm saying 90% of the process is a rejection. I reject you, you reject me. And 90% of the time, somewhere in the stage, I'm going to reject you, you're going to reject me. We get to an offer, you should probably be a little higher than 90% rejection if you want to survive at recruiting for more than a day.
Okay, enough. I have to guide you. I can see you just like blabbing, okay? But he actually sent me some he just before the show this morning, he sent me some topics he wants to blab about. I said okay. But before we get to that, I remembered the URL, the domain name for my sponsor, staffingdebt.com. How could I forget it? See, that's the proof. It's good because even though I forgot it, it stuck in my mind, came back a minute later. If you
are these guys like the cousin Guidos of like chasing down money? Is that these guys like if somebody owes you money, you call these guys and they go knock on the door and they know somebody? Is this what this company is?
You know what? I think you're going to get us into diversity problems with that reference you made to The Sopranos a minute ago. Okay. Okay.
That's a good chance.
This guy specializes in recruiting agencies whose clients hire their candidates without paying them. Okay, so if that's all he does. That's all he does. Rich Rosen endorsed him, and he's a good recruiter. So check him out. And Wilson Cole was a great guest. Okay, so now let's get to PJ. PJ wants to talk about recruiting tool failures. Go ahead.
Hey, y'all, I'm Lee Cage Jr., and I'd like to invite you to listen in to my podcast, 15 Minutes With. 15 Minutes with rising stars and seasoned disruptors, thought leaders, and change agents who are sharing how they're reshaping work, rethinking worth, and reimagining what's possible. This is fast-paced, heartfelt, and unfiltered. These aren't just conversations. They're catalysts. So tune in, elevate, share the shift. 15 Minutes With, wherever you get your podcasts.
Well, not recruiting tool failures, but I gotta ask the question, Animal. Am I gonna get you in trouble by talking about HireTool?
You talk about anything you want, okay?
Talk about anything that I want. Well, here, okay, I think
I haven't billed my sponsors in over a year. I haven't billed my sponsors.
Oh, you haven't?
Over a year.
Oh, you should. Okay, send him a bill. Go do that right now. Then I'll start talking about HireTool. Get that bill paid. No, you talk about the big three, right? If you think about, let's just take LinkedIn out of the conversation. Think about it just purely from tools. I think that's an important conversation that tools are all missing right now, and they're not focused on ROI. Recruiting ROI, and you think about the big three: Seek Out, Intello, HireTool. When I think about ROI for what we do, I think about converting a prospect to a candidate. That's my ROI. Now, I'm not talking about the cost of the tool. I'm not talking about the scope of the tool. The literal sense of ROI. And one of the big things, and Nin, I'm a big fan of Nin. I've known him for a while, but I've been having the same conversation with Nin for 5 years. And Nin loves to cap ROI. He loves to tell you that you can only convert. He'll find you 400 million prospects, but he's only going to allow you to convert a few hundred a month, right? Which is like 2 hours of sourcing. This is the part where I think overall as an industry, I'd like to see these guys think a little more from a recruiter mindset and think about what our ROI is. Our companies are paying the bill. I don't care what the cost is. I really care about what I can do with the tool and converting prospects.
Can I ask a question?
Hold on a second. Does anybody on the line understand what he's talking about? Does anybody? Yeah. Jerry, I don't think you do.
That's why I was saying, can I ask a question?
Yeah. Go
Actually,
ahead.
I was asking. I wasn't saying. So when you say that it only allows you to convert 200 prospects, what does that mean? You only get contact info for 200 people a month?
Yeah, you can only reach out to so many people. Each one of them has a limiting factor. Telos high, Seahawks medium, Hire Tool is very, very, very low. Like embarrassingly low. Like I love NIDS.
That's absurd.
Dude, I can use Hire Tool, and I'm done with it in an hour and a half for the whole month.
For your monthly subscription. Come on,
yeah,
man.
well, you're paying, your companies, or if you're a headhunter, or if, like Jerry, you own your company. You're paying, $7,000-$8,000 for this tool that you can only use a few hours a month, because it's capping you on literally. I can source anything I want on that tool. He'll give you everything you want except for the contact info and the ability to email them. You can go get another free tool. You can get Swordfish. You can go add tools on top of tools. But come on, man. This is the part where I'm like, I don't want to use 3 tools. I don't have that kind of time.
Yeah, that's all you want is contact info. That sucks.
Yeah, but wait a second.
I'm going on record with that animal.
Okay, if those are excellent candidates, you probably don't need any more. Are they that good?
Well, you think about if you're an in-house recruiter,
how do you know?
50 requisitions. You know what I mean? What is it? I don't need one excellent candidate. I need 50 excellent candidates. So to get 50 excellent candidates, I need to source 5, 6, 7, 800. So if I'm just sourcing for one job, those numbers that Nid gives you.
Okay, hold on a second. Wait a second. 150 might be good for a kitchen table recruiter like Jerry. You listed yourself.
No, knock it off. I'm tired of that bullshit.
Nobody. I'm telling you, 150 prospects for a month to convert to candidate is useless to anybody in any industry. Any industry.
I'll burn through 150 candidates in 2 days.
Yeah, that's done. You're done. You might as well just shift the rest of the month out. This job doesn't take 2 hours a month. You gotta source 3-4 times a week.
Okay, so now since you trashed my sponsor, what about those other 2 companies?
Well, yeah. So I think
it sounds like you trashed your former sponsor.
I do. Yeah, your former sponsor. Well, listen, I think you think about
Jerry. You haven't been paid in a long time. Well, they haven't billed them. Okay.
Where's my money?
Really call them a sponsor.
Wow.
Where Hire Tool gives an advantage, it's got much higher scope. They have the biggest access. Like Seek Out is a fairly limited. I like Seek Out, but it's a very limited audience. It's GitHub, right? So you can basically source 25 million people on GitHub. Then they charge you a ton of money to do anything else outside of that. But they give you a lot of outreach ability. You can outreach to 500-600 people a month. So the scope, in terms of scope, Hire Tool is the best tool in the market. It just limits your ROI. Cost, they're all the same. They all want to charge you the same dollar. So I don't know. I think really about those 2 things: the scope of the tool, which Hire Tool has the edge. I think about the ROI, which Hire Tool is the rock bottom of the industry. And then I think about the cost, and they're all about the same. Until it was that middle one, it just does everything okay.
Okay, hold on one second. Let's add one relevant. Let's add one relevant bit of info. What kind? Yeah. You are a senior engineering recruiter. What kind of people are you recruiting? Because I think that makes a difference on these tools. They have strengths in different kind of job categories. I might be wrong, but what do you think?
Yeah, definitely. I think Seek Out, you're fairly targeted towards engineering talent. Hire Tool will source anybody. They don't care. They're pulling information from 50+ resources, which is the scope, right? It's a massive amount of scope. He gives you access to a lot of talent. I focus, primarily on behavior, motion planning, and as it relates to autonomous vehicles. That's 3 months old, though. Before that, I was recruiting very much more of a generalist, right? Recruiting everything under the sun as it relates to engineering, product, program, project, software engineers, SDETs, for a variety of.
Okay, let's move on. Next topic. Okay, you've got 3 topics. Yeah. You've got 3 topics here. Okay.
Yeah.
Although, if you want to stick with tools, let's stick with tools. You love Calendly, right? Okay, you love Calendly.
That's the greatest tools ever been created. The greatest tools ever been created. There's simply all the tools out there that have completely changed my outlook on recruiting. Calendly. That's the tool. I hate scheduling. I hate it. I'm a terrible RC. I am a terrible scheduler. I love Calendly is like your own assistant. It just automates your entire scheduling experience. You just dump a little link in there, and you move on to the next candidate.
Okay. Anybody else want to comment on Calendly before we move on? Nope. Okay. His next one, he also loves this, Visage.jobs. Visage, V-I-S-H. Visage. Oh, I forgot your French. Okay. LeDorze. Okay.
That's
LeDorze.
right.
Is that what they call Jim Morrison's band?
Sleep.
Is that what they call Jim Morrison's band in
they
France? LeDorze?
Yeah, LeDorze. Yeah.
Okay.
I think it actually means like baker or something silly. I don't know. So it's not something cool.
Okay, so what is Visage and why do you love it so much?
I haven't used Visage in a while.
I forgot already. Visage.
Yeah, Visage is your crowdsourcing, right? So you can kind of dump your job out there, and they've got sourcers to get, basically $1 a lead type thing. So it's good for volume. I think it's good for jobs where you just need a lot of activity, but the sourcing is not super in depth, not super complicated. And they've got sources all over the world, not in the U.S., that will just source against that job and dump candidates. They qualify the candidates through an AI tool, and if they, if it's quality and you select yes, then you get all the details.
So, is this one of these things where Joe Blow over in Taiwan can look up names on anywhere online and just put them into the this online database and you get to pay for them $1 a name or something like that? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I think you set the rate, what you want to pay per lead, but that's the basic idea.
How good is the searching? How good is the searching tool? If you've got no-name people putting people in, are they coding them properly or so that you can actually find them?
Yeah, I think it's good. You have to go in there with some level of expectation. I'm not going to put behavior, motion planning, AV job in there, right? That's going to be really complicated. 15 keywords later, one resume later type thing. But if you've got if you're hiring C#, if you're hiring a bunch of contractors, you're hiring for a fairly easyable, that you need a dozen of them now. You dump it
but
in
look
there.
at hold on. I don't know if Ernie's on the line, but Ernie Marino calls into the show sometime. He's working in the food industry in the United States. He's not going to find people. Is he going to find people on Visage?
No, you don't find people on Visage. You treat it like a job board that people crowdsource against your job. So you put your
Let me
job
move on.
out there.
Okay, I didn't understand, but okay, so then
let's
not. You know what? They're not paying me enough on Visage. Okay, you didn't do a good job describing it. Okay, you wanted a texting.
They should cut you a check.
Okay, you wanted a texting tool that handles GIFs. You said a lot of sourcers are having luck getting prospects to engage using GIFs. The target audience for this is 20-somethings in retail and hospitality. GIFs are fun. They're more easy to act with a GIF versus a standard SMS message. Did you find a tool that you wanted to use?
They're not using it yet. Hey, Jerry, do you use GIFs? GIFs are hot right now. They're hot.
No, I'd love to. Tell me about it.
GIFs. Candidates love GIFs. I don't know why they love them. I'm too old for it, but they love GIFs. Texting tools is a little invasive, but for whatever reason, using GIFs, it just breaks it down. It's silly and it's fun. It's just you don't get a temperamental response. So GIFs are hot. I don't know of any texting tool that allows you to input GIFs yet. They're all too focused on
what kind of GIFs would you put into
GIFs are hot in email marketing right now. Email marketing is all about GIFs. Every email sequencing tool out there for recruiting is highlighting their ability to add GIFs to their emails. Because again, it's a generational thing, and I think it's a little disarming. It's disarming, right?
Yeah, but what's the GIF? Is it a GIF from different movies or?
Gary's the GIF expert. I don't know.
Okay, fine. Let's move on. Okay. What websites are the best for benchmarking pay rates? You said you like Paysa, Paysa.
I love Paysa and I love Levels.fyi.
What is
Levels.fyi. Levels.fyi. It's got all the big tech companies on there. It's got their full comp details.
Can you spell it? Can you spell it?
Yeah. LEVELS.fyi.
Okay.
This is the cool kid on the block. It's the cool kid on the block now.
Okay, but you said Paysa. Paysa is super slick, and it's got lots of great data, right?
Paysa is the one where I pay for. It's great. I like Paysa.
Okay.
It's very modern.
But you didn't say payscale.com, and you didn't say bls.gov, which other people use, right?
No, I only time I've used the BLS is when we're doing like anything around like H1, and we need to make sure that we're within that pay range.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody H1? I forget the H1.
Anybody want to say something? Anyone want to say something? Anybody? Even Jerry, want to say something at this point? Want me to go on? Okay. Online. People like tools, and you leave a lot of messages on Facebook that are really good. Okay, so I'm asking you about them. You like online coding assessment tools. CoderPad is what you like. Am I right about that? CoderPad.
Yeah, CoderPad's great because it's a virtual whiteboard. HackerRank and I'm forgetting what the other one is, are more like the assessment ones. Although CoderPad has. You can drop in challenges they do, but HackerRank is the one where they actually create the challenges for you, or you can create them yourself. They have got all the tools that make sure that people aren't cheating. They scrape make sure that those questions aren't out there on the web with the answers.
Okay, but you said it's expensive. Okay.
Yeah.
HackerRank is. You said it's
cheap.
expensive.
Yeah, I think these are. Last I checked, these are $14,000, $15,000, $16,000 for a startup. Much more for large companies.
Okay,
but
you're endorsing
for junior and medium level talent. They're good. They're not good for.
But you're endorsing CoderPad. You're endorsing CoderPad and HackerRank.
It's more of an interview one. CoderPad is more of an interview tool. You use CoderPad for anything virtual related because literally you can write code with somebody else right in front of you on a proper coding pad. Right. So
Jerry.
CoderPad.
Jerry. Any interest in this stuff?
No, I'm snoozing off. Great guest. PJ is a stellar dude. I think you're losing the audience here. You're getting off into wonky stuff.
Okay. He wanted to talk about
could you?
Okay, you want to talk. He also wants to talk.
Yeah, can I ask a question about like talent acquisition? Jerry, what do you think what do you think of that word when people think versus recruiting when they start calling their entire orgs talent acquisition? They're driving nuts.
I didn't like it at first, but now it's just kind of what it is. I was also against the adoption of the word recruitment here in Los Estados Unidos, but again, I've accepted that. You know what I mean? It's just coming along. I mean, I still have my business cards that say personnel department on it, so. You know
Animal,
what I mean?
do you get triggered by this word? I get triggered. Am I the only one left over that's like annoyed?
I think it's a bit hoity-toity. These guys, you know what triggers me? Leader, okay, instead of manager. Okay, I'm still hooked up on that. I'm a leader.
There's something about.
I'm a leader. No, you're not.
You're a lead. I mean, to me, it's still an individual contributor. You think about leading something. You can lead anything. You can lead an email, right? It's not managing. I don't know. The word to me, it doesn't accompany anything we do, right? We don't acquire anything. There's not a single job function in recruiting that is an acquisition-based thing. Everything is engaging. It could be marketing, sales, it could be a lot of different things. But talent acquisition, there's literally
here's the problem. Acquisition. I read what you said about it. Acquisition sounds like you're buying a slave, okay, and you don't like that.
Yeah, we're just buying it. That's transactional. There's already a good word for what we do. It's recruiting. Why do we need to change? You know what I mean? That's exactly what we do.
It's recruitment.
Recruitment, yeah.
Yes, please.
I don't know. I think I'm one of the last ones that get kind of just set off.
Okay, we got your rant. You get it off your chest, okay? But you've also got another.
I do feel better.
You got another peeve about in-mails. You don't like in-mails or something like that. Go ahead.
No, am I okay? Are you guys, Jerry? You own your company. You probably get bombarded by a million B2B emails right now, right?
All day. It's all crap.
Dude, it is.
Seriously, all day.
It used to be bad, but now it's like out of control. I feel like B2B emails, and I think recruiters are I think a lot of people that are non-recruiters like cry me a river. You get blasted on LinkedIn. Sorry, not sorry. But I think for recruiters, I feel like B2B emails are where we were 10 years ago. They're all bulk emailing people that don't do anything to do what they're wanting. I get marketing and emails all the time, like, hey, engineer recruiter, my job title, and they're reaching out to me about hey, we'd love to help you out with your marketing needs. I'm like, what the fuck?
Okay, but you
marketing?
also say, let me interrupt here, okay, because you're a rambler, okay, and Jerry was nice enough to stop me. Jerry stopped me when I was going too deep on the
That's what
whatever.
you paid me for. That's what you paid me for.
Yeah, okay. But you know what? PJ is complaining about in-mails, but he says his response rate is not bad, 40%, up to 80% sometimes in the past. Am I right about that, PJ?
That's correct. I'm very targeted. 10 years ago, I was bulk emailing like everybody's doing in B2B sales right now. Now you should be targeted, right? You should have a reason why you're reaching out to somebody, and you should probably be vocal about that reason in the email.
Okay. I'm going to do an ad for PC Recruiter. I mean, this guy, PJ, I know a lot about what he thinks about ATSs, and he never talks about PC Recruiter. But PC Recruiter loves recruiters, and it doesn't matter what kind of recruiter you are. You could be a recruiter like Jerry. You could be a recruiter like PJ, okay? As PJ keeps reminding Jerry, he works for himself, where PJ prefers to work in a big, famous company, okay? And they can help you either way, and they love you no matter whether you're big or small. Big or small, we help them all happily, okay? And the key thing with them is, and this is something I noticed PJ said, PJ likes when you can edit the software to suit yourself. And PC Recruiter brags all the time that you can configure their software. You can customize it to suit your workflow, and if you don't know how to do it yourself, they're happy to help you. Okay, PCRecruiter.net.
Listen, dude, you got to change that, man. You've got to change that.
Hold on. Let
Seriously,
me ask
that's
PJ.
the same lame-ass ad you've had. Nobody wants to customize and configurable their ATS.
I do.
They want. Come on.
Absolutely. Go to look at Lever. Lever, you can't change your own workflows without contacting customer service. It takes you 3, 5, 6 days if you can get it done. Last time I had Lever, I had a ticket that was 20 long. Literally 20 back and forth to change one step in my workflow. Come on. You got to have custom. You got to be able to make it yours. Recruiting is people get set in their ways. Everybody has there's the standard funnel, and everybody has their own version of a funnel. You got to have ability to operate within your way to stay organized. It's a really hard job to stay organized. It's hard for me to do it Jerry's way. It's hard for Jerry to do it PJ's way.
I'll consider that. I'll consider it.
PJ, this is Ernie Moreno. Hey,
what's up, man?
What ATS? How are you? Hey, what
good.
ATS do you use? What CRM do you use, PJ?
I use Greenhouse. I like Greenhouse because it plays well in the sandbox. Every tool wants to basically, integrate with Greenhouse first because it's very API friendly, and Greenhouse likes having a lot of tools. They like a big toolbox. So I like Greenhouse for that reason. Greenhouse, like any ATS, has its problems. Other people like Lever because it's the UI is better than Greenhouse in a lot of ways. So for me, I'm a Greenhouse guy until someone comes along better. And I haven't used PC Recruiter. I'd love to check them out for sure.
When you reach out to a candidate, you identify a candidate you want to talk to. What's your process in connecting with that candidate?
So it depends on, I guess it depends on where I'm sourced, if they're an applicant or if they came in through a referral or an agency or if it's actually somebody I sourced. But if it's coming in through the ATS, i.e. like an agency put it in there or a referral or an applicant, they have a lot of variety of templates in Greenhouse that you can use. So I usually just click their email and drop in one of my templates.
I don't think that's what he's asking you. Okay, I don't think that's what he's asking. He's asking you what subject, what's your email subject line? That's what he wants to know.
Or more so, do you call them first? Do you text them first? Do you?
First method of contact. What's that, PJ?
First method of contact is email. Second method of contact is phone.
Hold on, in-mail? What did you, in-mail or email or both? You've got to be very clear, okay?
In-mail or I typically don't like to do both. In-mail or email. If the email doesn't work, I'll sequence email them. They're already in the ATS, I'll email them. Phone second, text third.
Okay, hold on. Those are your preferred. So does that mean you're going to email or in-mail them, then go to the phone for the second contact if they don't reply, and then text the third time, or that's just your order of preference generally across the board?
That's generally my order of preference.
Okay, so let's say you email them, they don't respond. How many times are you going to keep emailing them?
I don't like to email multiple times. I like to follow up with a phone call. A little bit old school in that, right? So if the email didn't work, I'd like to follow. I'd like to source our contact info.
Hold on, I want to help Ernie. I had this question planned too.
Well, thank you.
You email them, then you phone them. That's the second message. The person doesn't respond.
Hold on. And where are you getting your phone numbers then, PJ? White Pages?
Well,
there you go.
Yeah, so Swordfish is a good one. Gem is a tool that we use to integrate with LinkedIn and our ATS. Fantastic. They do a really good job of sourcing contact info and instantly putting it into your ATS. So those are usually my go-to for contact details. You don't know. I mean, I would say I have access to the number of somebody that I sourced 40% of the time, tops. Right? So in which case I might send a follow-up email. I might do sequencing. If I'm really interested in that person, I want to find a way to engage with them. One thing we're not talking about is Facebook. I wonder if anybody still uses Facebook Messenger. We started to, and then we stopped.
This is William Tincup, and I'd like to direct you to a wonderful limited series podcast that Ryan and I recorded live at the ERE Recruiting Innovation Summit. We sat down with 20 recruiting and TA leaders from around the world to hear what today's best recruiters are doing to stay sharp, stay relevant, and stay ahead. It's called The Talent Shift. You'll love it. You'll find the podcast wherever you get your podcasts. Listen, like, review, share. Do you?
I don't
Twitter.
use it.
I don't use Twitter, so I don't DM. I don't slide into their DMs. Usually I try to avoid the social with candidates because I feel like it's personal.
Okay, let me finish my question. Wait a second, Ernie. You emailed the person, no reply. You get to the phone call, no reply. Do you leave a voicemail? Yes or no?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Don't be that guy. Don't be that guy who doesn't leave a voicemail.
Well, tell us your voicemail. What is your voicemail? Tell us your voicemail.
Oh, God. I mean, my voicemail is usually like fairly quick to the point. However, whatever stage I'm in, like if I'm calling them, again, depending on where they came from, what level of engagement I'm at with them, so you can determine how I'm going to kind of frame that call.
If you send an email, come on, how much do I have to lay it out for you? You send an email, you didn't get a reply, you're phoning them, you get a voicemail. What do you say?
Did I find them on LinkedIn? Did I find them on the deep web? Did I read a publishing that they wrote? How did I find them? Like that? How do I answer that question?
You find them on LinkedIn.
There's 100 different ways to find a candidate. So I found them on LinkedIn. If I send them an email, I would reference that. Say, this is PJ LeDorze. Just calling to follow up on my email. Got your contact details. I hope I'm calling the right person. Look, you've got a really interesting background, X, Y, and Z. I'm really interested in talking with you. Repeat my name. Repeat my phone number. Say it slowly. End the call. Right? Shoot them a text. If I had the right contact, shoot them a text maybe a week later saying, hey, last attempt. I understand if you're not interested, but look, I just want to let you know that, I've looked at your profile. I'm interested in you, right? This isn't just random.
Okay, so that's 3 times. Okay, 3 times. What if they still don't? How many times? Yeah, if you're really interested, how many times will you go after that person? Pursue them.
Over their life?
No, for that one job. For that one job. Come on, answer the question.
I'll keep coming.
How many times? 80? Will you do 80 times?
Yeah, it will. I would say if I go the phone texting route, that's it. That's a wrap. If I don't have their phone or texting, I'll try a sequence email afterwards. I don't love those.
Okay, Jerry, did he say 3 times? Jerry, help me. Did he say 3 times?
I think he said 3 times.
3 times.
Okay. 3 times in like a week. Is that right? In a week?
No,
3 times in a week.
Over a couple weeks.
Over a period of time.
And that's it. Okay. Ernie's got another question for you.
This is the part of the job that just escapes you, Animal. You got to feel it, man. You can feel whether you should try again or not.
I have to say, there's a lot of good recruiters who will not give in. They will pursue you until you talk to them.
No, I'm not that guy. I'm not the over aggressor. I want to be consistent, but I don't want to be over aggressive. I'm not that. I don't want to just keep hitting an empty door, right? But to Jerry's point, there's an art to it. There's something you feel about their background. There's times when I look at somebody's background, like this person's going to be interested in this job. They're signaling that their career's trajectory in this is the right job for them. They've been there for 3 years. They're stagnant. There could be a lot of different things that signal to a recruiter, experienced recruiter, that as this person, they should be interested in this job. I'm going to put a little extra effort in. Other times, they may get one email and I move on.
Okay, Ernie, over to you. You want to ask a few questions.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, PJ, do you happen to use automation to do this, or you just go one by one individually each time? I mean, you seem to be a guy
I want to. I mean, I'm careful with the automation in terms of contacting, but certainly where automation really helps me is sorting, prioritizing, and putting in the ATS. That's kind of where I value automation.
Okay.
Sorting the best candidates to the top, helping me prioritize which ones I should reach out to, and then get them into the ATS. That's
because Hire Tool, that's what they do for you. They rank them, and they tell you, they guess the salary, and they tell you which ones they think are going to be ready to move. Am I right about that?
Yeah, absolutely. Hire Tool is the best scope. I mean, Hire Tool is the best tool out there. It's just the ROI issue, right? But as far as like tool, Hire Tool automates a lot of these things for you, which is very beneficial. I just can't. My problem with Hire Tool is I'm done with it after a few hours. I need more. I need the ability to contact more people.
Too expensive for you, but it's a great tool.
No, not too
expensive.
So not too expensive.
Yeah. Okay. I just want to make it clear. I want to turn this into a little ad.
It sounds like it's ridiculously limiting.
Did you just call me? Did you call me cheap?
No, well, indirectly. Okay.
It's not his budget.
Not my budget.
It's that corporate life.
Yeah. You just call my CEO cheap? I'm just kidding.
Your CEO? Yeah, I called him cheap. I don't know his or her name, okay?
You
so
call
I'm
CEO
quite
cheap?
Oh, I am cheap.
Yeah, that's true. That's fair.
I have to be.
That's why he lives out in the country.
I'm getting old. Money's getting tight.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're not getting younger.
Okay, I'm going to do an ad then, Ernie, if you've got something. But I want to do an ad for Hire Tool. We've talked about it many times, okay? This guy,
I think
PJ,
we already have.
Well, let me finish off, Gary.
I think that this ad's already been played out.
Yeah, did I just tell you guys not to buy it?
Yeah, don't ever buy Hire Tool, no matter what.
Oh, I'm going to get a follow-up from Nin.
I just want to make a
Paul and I
point.
are both going to get a follow-up from Nin on this one. He's going to email us both.
This guy,
you two donkeys.
This guy, PJ.
Seriously, 200 contacts a month.
Come on, Nin. Come on, give
seriously,
us more.
Dude,
give us more, Nin.
I never knew that. I never knew that, man. No way.
Give us 500 and I'll shut up. Give me 1,000 and I'll put your tool on my profile.
Okay, but I just want to say this is a guy who was discovered at a drugstore drinking a malted milk or something like that. His natural talent was just at a pet store. Was discovered. I mean, he is a superstar. He's
the turtle was drunk.
Superstar corporate recruiter, and he said a lot of fantastic things about Hire Tool, just like everybody else, okay? I want to make a point of that. HIRETUAL.com. Check it out.
If
Ernie,
this show has told us anything, it is run out and try Hire Tool.
Yeah. Okay. Ernie.
And that's the name of this show.
For at least 4 hours.
Well, the show's almost over, actually. Yeah, it's going fast. Ernie, any other questions that you wanted to ask?
PJ, yeah. I mean, PJ, you seem to know a lot about a lot of tools, a lot of things. How did y'all learn it? How'd you start?
Well, tools for me, I've always been fascinated with tools. I've never been in the camp of tools or replacing recruiters. It's the most ridiculous conversation that Jerry, Animal, and all of us on this call have been having our entire careers. But I'm always fascinated on ways that I can automate certain parts of the job, and especially in particular the parts of the job that I don't love. So, I don't know a lot of recruiters that love the administration part of the job. We do it. Even if you're good at it, you don't necessarily maybe love it, right? We're kind of a people job. So I'm always on the lookout for that, and I tend to demo at least one tool a month. And it takes a lot to kind of push me, like to really wow me with that tool. So I think, really,
how do you turn the people down? When you're in a demo and they're bragging about their tool for half an hour, how do you say, stop for me?
Yeah. How do you turn them off? I give them feedback right on the spot. I'm like, look, this is why this is bad. Was this built by a recruiter? Was this built by a software engineer? Did the software engineer talk to a recruiter? What you guys are trying to do, it's like if you're going to compete with Hire Tool and Tello Seek Out, be better than them, be cheaper, and give me higher ROI, have more scope. or what the hell are you doing? Like, don't compete with them because they got it.
So you're pretty blunt. So you're a nice guy who gives a little kid. You give the kid the shirt off your back, but when it comes to these business people, you're as tough as nails. Am I right about that?
Tough as nails, absolutely tough as nails. It's gonna be hard to get $1 out of me. You're gonna have to earn it. It's different when I negotiate with a candidate. That's a totally different process.
Let me hold on. I'll give Ernie another chance, but I want to ask, what about my introduction? Do people ever search your name and say, PJ, I got to speak to this guy. He's so nice. He's the nicest guy in the world, and he rides horses, okay? Does that ever come and help you?
Yeah.
I mean,
it does. It does. But, I'll be honest. I mean, I think what helps more, I do think that there's an advantage that experienced recruiters have over less experienced recruiters. I get called out of my profile all the time, a lot more than the NFL or the horses or my anything activities outside. A lot of people call out your previous companies. A lot of people look, and you just look like an experienced recruiter. They're more likely to respond. They're a little more comfortable. That does not mean if you're a junior recruiter, inexperienced recruiter, or new that you can't just crush it. That's not what I'm saying. Generally, candidates look at your profile, and they're gonna judge you like you're judging them. It's helpful if you have experience. It's helpful if it looks like you're doing something relevant, right? It's helpful. It gives them a little more confidence. You get a little higher likelihood of responding.
Okay, Ernie, he's repeating himself again. Ernie, go back to you. But Ernie, you know, you didn't ask him about his subject. You didn't ask him about his subject line, okay? And he says, I just want to say what he's. Ernie, I'm interrupting you. Okay, I gave you the time, and I'm not taking it away. He says there's lots of ways to recruit.
Has Ernie even said anything yet? Is it?
Okay, he says there's lots of ways to recruit. Some people find more success in details. He said others prefer to be more vague in their messages. I usually aim for the middle. I give them a reason why I'm contacting them without being too specific to one opportunity. Okay, that's in the body. You already told 100%. Us what message you. Okay, what about the subject line? What do you put in the subject line?
No, I think I think most of the subject lines I'll either reference a job. Again, when this is the vague part, I'll say like software engineering at Torque versus software engineer at Torque. That subtle difference signals that I'm not calling you a software engineer. I'm not going to assume your level. How many times do recruiters get pushed back saying, you send me a software engineer job, I'm a senior? I'm like, okay, read the fucking job and tell me what, if you're interested in this job, who cares about level? We'll level you downstream. But so you have to be kind of careful not to weed the candidate, have the candidate self-select out just based on title alone. So I'll try to reference that we have openings. Here's an example of like what we look for in software engineering.
Just what words go into the title? Specific words usually. That's what I'm
software
asking.
Engineering
okay?
with
Get to it.
Torque.ai. Software engineering with Torque.ai. Product manager. Okay. Product management with Torque.ai. I'm careful about referencing a specific job, and I want to give details about a relevant. Again, I'm reaching out to you for product manager. I'm not going to reference a level, but here's a general skill set of what we look for.
Okay.
Ernie, senior,
over to you.
Senior, then that's easy, right? If they're clearly a senior engineer, send them a senior engineer job. It's easy, right? But most senior engineers don't level out to senior in most of the companies I've worked at.
Mm.
Okay.
Yeah, that's
PJ,
probably true.
Ernie,
true.
Go ahead. Ernie,
PJ,
go ahead.
you got a lot of experience, a lot of people listening to you that are young, learning. What advice do you have for them? I mean, what would you first tell them to do?
Well, I'll tell you the first. I mean, this is going to kind of answer your question. I want to be careful because when I don't answer it all the way, Animal's going to call me out on it. But I think the important thing is when I do talk to people who are coming into the field or have been in the field for maybe less than 2 years, first thing I always tell them is that you have a 2, 5, and 10 year. At 2 years, you have a lot of great skills. You can be using a lot of different type of jobs. You can take a lateral move. You could probably even take a promotion into a different job, right? If you're going to look at this, it's a very useful skill set. 5 years, you're going to be getting close to the point where, like, your income is up, your level is up. For you to take a lateral move is still possible. For you to take maybe an up level at a different role, possible but complicated. 10 years, nobody's going to pay you anywhere what you want to make to do any other job. This is what you do, right? So when I laid out for them that way, they think, okay, good. I don't need to panic after 1 year if I don't want to be a recruiter. I've got really 5 years to figure this out, and I've got 2 years where my skills are extremely valuable. Right? Your next job is going to get paid more to do something else if you don't want to be a recruiter after 2 years. 5 years, iffy. 10 years, nobody's going to touch. You want to take a massive pay cut, take a different job. Nobody's going to pay you what you want to be paid to do anything else but recruit. So that's the first advice. I start there, right? Understand what your map is. Understand kind of what your career plan is. Because look, we all know how many recruiters do this for 10 years. There's far more recruiters who do this for 2. They flunk out, opt out, or run out.
Hey, so PJ, are you a full-time employee recruiter at these places, or do you contract? And second part of that is why aren't you just an independent recruiter guy?
Why don't I? Yeah, if you look at I've done that. I've gone back and forth. I've done all 3 of what you just asked me. So the irony of this is I just accepted a full-time offer at the company I've been consulting with yesterday. So I actually turned down full-time offers to join this company. They're in Blacksburg, Virginia. I wasn't ready to relocate willy-nilly without learning more about them. They wanted to learn more about me. So it worked out well. We got everybody's married, everybody's happy, and we're off in marriage land. So I'm gonna take off to Blacksburg, so I'm not afraid to contract to hire because I think it benefits both sides. I've also gone straight to hire, but I've also broken off and just worked for myself for a couple of years. And I'll tell you what, man, you gotta nod your head to the people like Gary that just do that, and the animal just build their brands and build their business around and be their own boss. Now I've tried it for a couple of years and I like it, and then I just go right back into a corporate environment. I don't know that I could do this for 25 years for myself. It's a lot of hustle. You just got to have a different fire. My fire burns around the job. It's less around the hustle or business development. I hate business development. I don't like doing. Well,
you sound like you will be great at it. Ernie, doesn't he sound like he would be very good at business development?
Yeah, exactly. That's and I think he would be great because he does have that voice. He does have that confidence. And it's just a matter of, I guess, what you like to do and really how you want to plan out your day. I mean, when you work for these companies, do you start at 8 o'clock in the morning and finish at 5? Do you work weekends?
All the above, but beauty by recruiting, it's not a 9-to-5 job or an 8-to-5 job. It's
right.
It's very easy for me to tell my boss, hey, I'm going to get started at noon today. Cool, no problem. Just take care of your stuff. Right. Now, if I'm not performing any job, insert any job, doesn't matter what the job
I got to do another. I got to do my final ad. But I got to do my final ad. But you actually say on Facebook that corporate recruiting and agency recruiting are very different. We'll come to that in a second. First, I want to tell everybody about Honeit, HONEIT.com, the online interview technology. Your candidate and you call into the same website. It records everything: audio, video, text, searchable text. If you come to an important question, you press a button. The candidate talks with you about it. You press another button. It creates a little clip that you can send to the hiring manager. She can listen to all the sizzle that the candidate brings to the conversation herself. Okay? Nick Livingston is the CEO. He's a great guy. He's on Facebook. He's on Twitter. You can talk to him about any time. Okay? Honeit, HONEIT.com. Okay. Well, how are they different? Okay, right.
I like that last tool. I mean, it's a bit creepy, but I like it. A bit creepy, but I like it.
What's creepy? That whatever you say
just
is etched in stone after?
Just the ability. I mean, that's just an evolution into the world we live in. Everything's social. Everything's recorded. You're on camera everywhere, except for the show, of course. You're on a camera on the show.
Well, if you said something awful, like some people have, I can edit the show, but I don't like having to do that. Okay.
Good.
Okay. What's the difference between a corporate and an agency recruiter? Because you said clearly, and I can find my notes and quote it back to you. How are they different?
Yeah, I think this is always. I don't know why I struggle to answer that question every time I'm asked, and sometimes I impress myself with an answer, and sometimes I just bomb it. The real reality is, there's a lot of similarities in what we do, and I think my approach is very similar. My recruiting approach as an agency recruiter, and my approach as a corporate, and the way that I engage with candidates and hold on to them are very similar. The benefit about starting an agency and moving to corporate is I never forget about somebody else calling your candidate, and that never lost. I mean, I've never lost the edge around losing my paycheck. That sticks with you. And I think a lot of people that
the
haven't
sense of
done
urgency, the sense of urgency and timing.
Somebody else is recruiting them.
Okay,
Somebody else
let me you know, since you're doing your usual stick, talking around something. I mean, I have to fight with you to get specific. This is what you actually said. You said, PJ said, the roles are very different. It's not all about production on the corporate side. There's a big learning curve going in-house. Not everyone can or should make the jump. Boom. Go ahead.
Yeah, I think there's one of the you're not going to love this, Animal, but I can tell you right now, probably one of the most useful ways I can articulate that is my experience when I converted from agency to full-time at Microsoft. I mean, I'll make it short. My first 6 months, it was contract to hire. My first 6 months, I was walking on water. I thought I was killing it. I was absolutely crushing every number and put in front of me, and I was by far ahead of anybody else around on my team. I was really outperforming my team. My 6-month conversation, I had a really hard conversation with my boss. She looked me dead in the eyes, like, I don't know if we're gonna go any further than we are today. And she's like I'm contemplating ending your contract here. And I've never been more crushed or surprised in my entire life on anything. Literally, like, went from like, yeah, I'm your greatest recruiter you've ever seen to like, you're going to get fired. I should probably fire you. And the big difference was that it's the expectations I was setting with clients and the way I was operating. I was operating like an agency recruiter. I was fully focused on the production. I wasn't focused on my presence. I wasn't focused on the relationships, like internal relationships versus external. I was selling them versus being a partner and being a subject matter expert for what I do. But the biggest killer was not setting expectations. If she gave me 50 recs, then I would tell her, like, Corey, I'll fill that. And I filled 40 of them. The recruiter next to me filled 15. My expectation, I'm like, good, I'm crushing it.
She's totally crazy. She's totally crazy. I would leave a company like that. You got a manager with no brains.
No, listen to me, Animal. Listen, if I tell somebody, if you tell somebody you can fill 50, you don't fill 50, they could have resourced it elsewhere. They could have given you more resources. They could have added another recruiter. You set the expectation you're going to accomplish the job, and you don't do it. There's other resources available that could have done
Hold on.
it, right? And that's the failure,
somebody help me. Somebody help me. Didn't you just say that you filled 40 out of 50, and the recruiter sitting beside...
I pulled those numbers out of thin air. I just want to be clear.
You got to understand when somebody's just giving a you got to, yes, exactly, man. You can't beat his ass over theoretical crap.
Hold on, Jerry or Ernie can help. Jerry or Ernie can help me here. The guy said he was doing very well, and she didn't. She told him he sucked, and I can't figure out why.
Yeah, because the expectations were out of whack.
Yeah, no, what I didn't understand was you sounded like you were doing better than the other guy, and
I was doing better.
The other guy's doing. The other guy has a job, and you don't.
You're tuning into the Careering with Cameron podcast, your safe place for asking all the dumb questions about finding a job. This is the place for you to get a clear, step-by-step roadmap for your career journey, including things you haven't even thought of. If you're a bright, data-driven individual in a STEM field who struggles with people skills, or you're just finishing college and wondering what's next, you are in the right place. My goal is to help you feel ready and empowered, not just apply for positions, but find work that truly aligns with your passions. I do what I do because I believe no one should have to navigate this alone. For 20 years, I was on the other side of the desk as a recruiter. I saw what worked, what didn't, and why. Now, as an ICF certified professional coach, I'm bringing the insight to help you, helping you think like a recruiter so you can land the job you want. Each week, I'll be bringing you actionable advice on everything from best practices for resume writing to what you could ask in your interview. Be sure to subscribe and rate 5 stars if you enjoy the podcast so others can too. Also, make sure to follow us over on Careering with Cameron and visit our website at www.talent-connect.net. See you October 15th, where episode 1 will be released to discuss the number 1 reason why you're not getting a job.
Yeah, well, no, they didn't fire me. I quickly changed and adapted. I took the feedback, and they quickly changed. And I stopped telling her I'm going to fill every job, and I started telling her what I can fill, right? And then
was this an agency?
No, this is Microsoft.
No, he was at Microsoft, Ernie, and he was bragging too much. I guess that's his
Come
problem.
on, Ernie, pay attention.
Listen, in the agency environment, you have the mentality that
on Ernie.
God. Listen, the agency side, are you going to tell a client that you're not going to fill their job?
Jerry.
Yes,
You're a smart guy. Doesn't it sound like he just he wasn't sucking up to people enough inside, and that was the problem. Is that what he's telling us?
Dude, yeah. That's a part of it. It's a part.
Hey, we've only got 3 minutes left. Move on, dude.
Okay. Well, let me ask you this.
Jerry, you asked the last question. Hold on. Wait a sec. Hold on. Jerry and PJ have an ongoing battle about guarantees.
Oh, yeah.
No, not guarantees.
Like 10 years.
On who owns the candidate. There's who owns the candidate.
At least 10 years.
Yeah.
At least. The same conversation for about 10. We're not there yet.
Yeah.
Maybe we should save that for the next time.
The sooner we all read Sun Tzu, the sooner we all recognize that there is no ownership. Yeah. Ownership is a completely defensive posture. Defensive armor slows you down on the battlefield. I don't want to get too heavy with you.
Yeah,
brilliant.
Yeah.
Running around checking to see if anybody owes you a fee a year later is just not. That's not the straightforward way I do business, and it's cool.
But Jared,
that's cool. I mean, people can try to button it up.
What was the Sopranos business? But then you got businesses that specifically target companies that are obligated to pay on these candidates if they're hired, and maybe they came through a different source 9 months later. There has to be some rules in place, and it sucks.
Yeah, you know what? That's too big.
My rule is, if the reason you're considering that person is due to my work, then you owe me a fee. It could be today. It would be 3 years from now.
If everybody played by that rule, it would be simple, but almost nobody does. Right? As a corporation, we gotta have some structure, so we don't.
My agreement also says, My agreement also says, some other agreement you have in place doesn't remove your obligation.
And that
for
one
me,
bullet point, I would never sign that. This is the part where you and I will never agree, because
I expect every one of my customers to agree to that.
Yeah, you know what? Hold on, let me interrupt here. Let me interrupt. I did not.
You can't sign that. You can't sign that as a company. You can't.
I didn't set this
up.
I have Fortune 100 corporations that sign that every single time I've sent it.
You found somebody didn't know what the hell they were doing to sign a contract. You signed somebody didn't know what the hell they were doing.
No, not.
You got an admin or a secretary or something. Signed it. Didn't see that bullet point, because you can't forfeit all contracts you have as an organization.
PJ, you're suggesting that I'm duping someone into agreeing to my terms, and I am absolutely not. Absolutely not.
That was
and it's not one time.
That was
okay. But it's not one time. It's every time.
Okay,
that's
you know
how
what?
I do business.
I'm going to talk over those guys. I didn't set this up.
I'm going to talk over you. If I provide the service, then you owe payment for my service. Some other agreement that you have in place does not remove you owing me for my service. Your issue is with them.
If in-house recruiters were careful,
your issue was
if they were careful, this wouldn't be a conversation. But they're not. That's the biggest problem is the people that don't do it, that don't manage the process or set expectations up front. Jerry and I ever did business, we would have expectations anchored out up front, and both of us would run the straight line, do our jobs. The problem is most don't. In-house recruiters and agency, they're all over the place, right? So it's a hard process.
Okay, you know what? I didn't set this conversation up properly. It's a really good one.
Companies are giving
you're a great guest. You're a great guest. I love you.
Companies are giving up quite a bit through this ownership crap.
Okay, Jerry, we'll do it when he comes back.
Hiring people. This is the last time I'm ever going to be on this show. This is bullshit.
Ernie Marino, thank you. Jerry Albright, thank you. And PJ O'Rourke. PJ LeDorze, our new friend. Thank you.